Okay, so this is the video that I just made, that I just screen captured. Also, I had my picture-in-picture on, so my Macintosh webcam took that of me while I was making the video. The first thing that you want to do definitely is you want to check out the preferences and the settings. You just go to ScreenFlow and Preferences, and the only thing that you really need to be worried about, obviously there's a countdown for 5 seconds before recording. You can change that number. You can have it on or off. I like to have it on. So as soon as you start ScreenFlow, the countdown will start, and unless you change this setting. The other thing that you want to pay attention to is the hotkeys. Recording is Command 2, and pause I have set as Command 1, and you can change these as you want. Okay, and I'll keep it as that. The other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your video magnification is set to smooth as opposed to sharp. Smooth when you're zooming in, magnifying in certain areas, you want it to transition to go smooth. Screen recording compression, I would stick definitely with adaptive. I would not mess with lossless. Stick with adaptive, and also if you want to, whenever you're capturing some screens, where do you want it to go to, save to, so you can change it there. And that's pretty much it for these settings. You also want to come and you want to uh, just preview the different tabs here for your editing, splitting clips and copying and pasting and cutting. Very straightforward, obviously. You can obviously mark in point, out point. You insert a text box, or you can choose, and if you want to choose an image from your hard drive or what have you. Your fonts would be obviously for if you have a text box inside here, you can choose fonts and underline and so forth. Actions, obviously, I'll get into those. View, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, so that's zooming in, right? Zooming out. Fit to 100%, and that would be obviously zoom to fit. You can also zoom timeline to fit, and you can just play around with these. Snapping is when you are, for example, if I put a split right here, and now there's two different clips. Snapping is when if I were to bring two different clips together, it would snap together. If I unsnapped it, I could move it around a lot easier, but it's not going to snap in place. And you want to click on the snapping for that to happen. Then your windows. Okay, that's fine. Here is where you really want to spend your attention to, over here on the right hand side. But before I get into that, I just want to uh, obviously you have your reverse, which is brings you back to the beginning of the timeline. This is the timeline here. Here's your audio, or excuse me, I made a mistake. This is your video track, and here is your audio track. And here obviously you have your scrubber head. I can move this anywhere along the whole timeline. That's your scrubber head. And obviously this here is your zoom. I can zoom in and out of that timeline. You notice that there's seconds, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, if I expand on that, now I got the half a second, 1 second, 2 second. This is if you're doing some detailed editing and you want to have precisely where you're going to splice something and add something and so forth. You can really zoom in and get precisely where you want to be. Okay, get precisely where you want to be. The timelines, you can move things around here on the timeline. Obviously, you would normally have a number of clips that you would put in a timeline. This is just one big long clip. Okay, that's the inspector. Obviously, shows up when I start moving that. See, that's the inspector. That's it. All right. Okay. From there, I can just exit out of that. From here, the first thing that you want to do when you first start to edit your video, you want to click on this little symbol right here. And this is here where you resize your video to how you want to produce your video when you get it online. Obviously, if you are going to be looking at high definition, say for example 720. See that? See how that shrinks down? Don't worry about that. I know it's lost a lot, but I'll see how to fix that. Or if you're going to go to standard definitions, 640 by 480. A lot of people like 620 by 400. Okay, just like that. And once you have, if I'm gonna make this at 720 by 400, once you are set with your video display, what you can do now is you can come over to, you have your video properties, you have your audio properties, you have your screen recording properties, you have your callout actions, you have your text properties, and your media properties, media in your document. Right now I have the screen recording and I have the picture-in-picture. Okay, those two, and those two are in my timeline. All right, and for each of these different properties, you can add a video action. I can come here and I can add an audio action. I can add a screen recording action. I can add a callout, it's called. I can add a text box, and I can add a media or add another recording as I'm here. And I will get specifically into these specifically, but first of all, if you just go to your video properties, I'll show you how to fit all of this here into this little window here. Obviously you want to click on apply, all right, just to make the changes permanent. Anytime you want to go back, you can change it right here. So the end result that I'm going to export this is going to be a file that's going to be 80 by 600. So what I can do here, I can come and make sure you click on the video properties there. There's a screen recording there. The first one is a picture-in-picture. This is the screen recording. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and I can put that right inside there. You see that? And I can click on here and I can scale that up. See how it snaps? Snap. Snaps right on there. And I can come down and it's going to snaps right on there. So that's going to be the image right there. Now what I don't like about it is that the 80 by 60 is a little bit awkward for this. So I'm going to go back and undo the scale. Undo it again. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go, it's going to be 720 by 400. And I'm going to click on apply. Alright, so now I'm going to obviously click on the recording track down here. I'm going to scale to fit that in there. See that? And I can come here and I can snap, and I can snap and snap and snap. Okay, snap there. And once you're done right there, you can start doing all kinds of neat things. I can rotate. Make sure you click on the track. I can rotate right here. See that? I can the Y rotation. See that? Y rotation. A lot of neat things that you can do. The Z rotation. All right, here's the opacity. It's the opacity, and I can bring a shadow to the whole thing. I'm not going to get into that right now. That's if I have a smaller window, I can make a shadow around the border of it. I can even change the color of it and so forth. Here's a saturation. Okay, see the colors. Okay, and the brightness, make it real bright. I can change that. And contrast. See that? So I just leave these at default. Default is appropriate. So when I come back, I'm going to get into number 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, some of these specifics of what you can do, and zooming and panning and all kinds of neat stuff.